What up, y'all? DCFAYGOGUY. Today we are going to be taking a look at Songs of Samhain 3, Cult of Night, the most recent release from the Songs of Samhain series. This actually just dropped at the end of September. I've been really hyped for this album. If you haven't watched my review for the first Songs of Samhain, if you haven't watched that one or the second one, go watch those. You don't have to wait, or you don't have to go watch them first. You can wait till after the end of this video to go watch them if you would like. But if you haven't watched that first one, I talked about how as I had forgiven Twisted and started listening to their discography, I really didn't go and jump into these, but once the Halloween season approached, and I did, I fell absolutely in love. And at that time, they had, it didn't take long when I was starting to listen to them that they announced this third one, and I just got super excited because this is a series that I would like to see them continue on for years to come. Even if, if they don't do it forever, if they stopped at like Volume 13 or Songs of Samhain 13, just to kind of fit the lore of, Halloween, I would be content with that. But I want to see them continue this for many, many years. I do have high hopes and suspicions that they will release another one next year, because at the end of this album, towards the end of this album, you hear Fatty Patty Pumpkin Bench, I'm probably butchering that name, I knew I was going to. You hear him mention "until next time." So I feel like there's definitely going to be more, and I am A-okay with that because I absolutely love this series. I've heard some people say that they weren't really fucking with this series, which blows my mind because it's Halloween. We all love Halloween, right? It's like the Juggalo season, so these albums are themed to Halloween. They're fucking amazing to me. So I went into this album super fucking excited because I had been listening to the first two, and at the time the first one was my favorite, and I will go ahead and say it here and now, the third one is definitely the best. It has the best fucking best fucking songs on here. Like I've said in the other two reviews, if you've watched them, I have all three of these in two different playlists, and I listen to all three albums from front to back. I have no need or desire to skip. So they're amazing to me. But this one definitely is the strongest. And again, I've only been listening to these albums for a couple of months. So you could say, oh, the third one's the newest, so that's probably why you like it the most. It's the freshest in your mind. But again, I've been listening to the other two since, I would say, August sometime. Maybe even a little bit in the late July. No, I wouldn't even say late July because, I was fully in Pug Ugly mode. So I would say mid-August was when I started listening to Songs of Samhain, and then they announced the third one, and, I had already been falling in love and was excited. So, I've been listening to them all roughly the same amount of time, and I love the third one a lot. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this. We do have a physical copy here to show you guys. I'm slowing down on buying physical copies. I'm going to probably focus a little bit more on doing like digital reviews where I review albums without owning a physical copy of them. Just to kind of, I'm in money saving mode right now. I don't know what it is. I call it a midlife crisis. I'm only 34, about to turn 35 in January, but somewhere in my mind, I'm like downsizing on merchandise, not buying as much physical media, and Apple Music's made it really easy to not need to buy physical CDs. So that's just kind of the mindset I'm in. I try to buy CDs because obviously it supports the artist and I want them to be able to continue to do what they're doing. But as of right now, going forward, I've kind of put like a big slowdown on buying CDs. And as a content creator, I can support the artist by doing reviews. So that is what we are doing. But I do have a physical copy of Cult of Night, and I love this cover right here. I would honestly say this is my favorite of the three. Now, the first one has like cultic theme to it, kind of adds to the lore and legend of Songs of Samhain. The second one, it's a little bit more basic. You basically have like this haunted record player with what looks like inside of a pumpkin. I do feel like if that was like maybe in a haunted cabin and you just saw this like haunted, like this old ass looking record player in the corner with like almost this, what's the word I want to say? With this like almost like aura around it, and that's like the haunting of the record player. I feel like that would have made a stronger album cover, but they gave us what they gave us. I don't hate it, but I definitely feel like it could have been better. But this one right here is absolutely amazing. I love this a lot, and I will talk a little bit more about it. I don't want to say too much right now because it's going to spoil some shit if I do. So just hold that thought of I love this album cover a lot. let's jump into it. We will open her up to the inside. There you have a fucking witch riding on a broom. I feel like this, as far as CD art goes, this is definitely the weakest one. It doesn't really fit the theme, I feel. I would have loved to have seen, like, you have here a skull. This is probably, I feel like this is carved out of a pumpkin, maybe. But I feel like for the CD art, if they would have had, like, similar to this, maybe have, like, a picture of an old withered face. And that becomes, like, the Mother Witch, because that's one of the tracks on here. Or Witch Mother. I feel like that would have been a cool CD art to kind of tie everything together. Keep it blue. The orange really pops and stands out to the blue theme that they were going for. So, I mean, even if they would have kept it like this and just made it blue, definitely a miss there on coloring and theming. Because the fucking whole CD, everything's blue, but the CD is orange. I don't know. It bugs me. Pop off the CD. There's all of your song credits right there. We will pull this out. This is a little booklet, which honestly, when I got these, I didn't even fully go through them all that much. But there you have the front again. I had to just verify that. Again, I haven't really looked through a whole lot of it. And then you have this like creepy, spooky wood scene with a cauldron in the middle. See what I mean? Like if they would have had something tie into it a little bit more, like maybe you see like a face with an old withered witch hat on. And that would be like the Witch Mother. And then you open up the book and like see her cauldron, and there she is in the middle of the night brewing some shit. You know? I feel like that was a missed opportunity when I looked through this. So, and I just now noticed this. Like I just now caught it. Again, I haven't really looked through this. But if you look there, that's a fucking witch. That must be the Witch Mother. And my fucking camera's going out. Give it a second. It'll load. I don't know why it does this, but thankfully it doesn't do it for very long. So yeah, I'm gonna assume that's the Witch Mother there. But I love the artwork of this album. It's just that fucking CD doesn't match, and it's kind of like, I want to talk to who designed it. Like, why did you decide to do this? Why did we go this direction? Like, honestly, I'm going to be 150% honest with you guys. Like, a lot of juggalos, they want to go and they want to be juggalo rappers. You got a lot of juggalos now these days that want to be beat makers. Shout out to Lil Ninja. He's fucking killing it with making beats. I've often thought about being a beat maker, but I don't have the musical talent to do that shit. But one thing that I do have, and I'm not artistic at all, but I am imaginative like a motherfucker. So like when Buckshot does a lot of shit with the stories he tries to build with albums, like to sit down in a room and come up with concept with artists, that's something I can do. And the other thing for me is like vocal work. Like I could jump on a skit, jump on an intro, do vocal work for artists, but that would be kind of a dream come true. I don't think it'll ever happen. Honestly, the biggest dream that I would really love is to have artists reach out to me before their album comes out and send me a copy of the album in advance. I get to listen to it in advance, and then the day that it drops, be able to drop a review. God, that would be a dream come true. But again, it probably will never happen. We'll flip it over to the back with the track list, which is The Moon Glow is Upon Us, Gospel, 1031. The track list was throwing me off. Like I knew that, yeah, it was throwing me off. But yeah, Gospel, 1031, Terrified No Fear, My Head, Curse of the Jack-o'-lantern, Nursery Rhyme from a Luminescent Time, Unclear, P31, Parasite Paradise, Unreal, Mother Witch, and Soggy Pumpkin. Now, again, if you haven't watched my other reviews, if you have watched my other reviews, I said in my last review of the second one that I was going to do my best not to call out Roan from Beneath the Dirt, but I just realized that I have to because I watched his episode after this came out, and he was complaining about Parasite Paradise and the beat. And I made a video unboxing these CDs, and I basically called him out, but was trying to be like anonymous with it. He actually messaged me. He said, "Yo, you don't have to do that. Like, you can mention my name. I don't care." But like, I always feel bad when I do it because I don't want people to think that I hate him, because I don't. Obviously, it's all love, and you know he doesn't take it personal. He doesn't think it's a jab or a diss either. You know, we're two different music consumers with different opinions, and I think it's awesome that we both can have differences in opinions, and you know, not be like, yo, fuck you, man, fuck you. You know, I think it's cool that me and him kind of have that relationship. But there's a lot of shit he's saying in his episodes that I'm like, bro, how do you feel like that? I don't get it. That track, Parasite Paradise, I fucking love it. So before we talk any further about that, I suppose we should jump into our top 5 tracks. Again, if you haven't been watching the latest reviews from me, we're switching it up. I'm not playing snippets of every single song. I'm cutting down on editing time and just playing you snippets of my top tracks. So let's jump into the top 5, which is My Head.
I am breaking down under pressure, under strain, understand my mind's insane, waste too much, caving in, every time feels like the end. My head filled with memories of blood on my hands, things you gotta do just to stack the bands, it's the thin.
Curse of the Jack-o'-lantern.
No crying over pumpkin guts on a porch, fake down like a corpse or such. Oh, but no me, go ahead and grab a bunch. What's in store? He never even had a hunch, and then I stabbed a motherfucker in his ass. Silly, big, bloody Jack-o'-lantern. He died dead center of the pumpkin patch. We heard him screaming as he carved till he hit bone. He was
Parasite Paradise.
death and decay, paving way to a paradise. Do I hate the fact that you're not like me or just like me? I can't decide. Is it the fact that you can't wait to fight, or when it's time to fight, you're the one to hide? Is it hard to believe in the things you say when you stir up ass waffle like A.X.E? So it's no mistake in my paradise.
Witch Mother.
Make way for the light, which in darkness I awake. In time I'll arise to embrace.
Love unconditional, bloodletting ritual. Witch mother, moon, crescent, feel the magic, make you well. Love unconditional.
And Soggy Pumpkin.
The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. Goodbye. The house is haunted by the memories that refuse to die. To die.
Again, if you haven't watched my other 2 reviews, I love this album front to back. This is definitely the best one in the series. I love every single fucking track on here. So much fucking fire on this album. You know, one of the things that Roan has been saying, and maybe he doesn't feel like that towards this album, because I haven't heard him say it necessarily directed towards this one. It was mainly directed towards the other 2. But I've heard him say that he feels like Twisted cares more about Twisted when it comes to like group projects or these kind of albums. I guess he feels like they're not bringing their A game. And I listen to these and I go, bro, this is their A game. Like, what is it you're wanting them to bring? Their A+++ game? Like, they're bringing so much fucking energy to these albums. So I don't know. I don't want to fucking seem like I'm beefing with Roan. I'm not. The dude, fucking homie, love Roan. But some of the shit he's been saying, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Then let's talk about our top 5 tracks. Out of the top 5, my favorite is hands down, and this is definitely my favorite track out of all of the songs of Samhain. And I would honestly place this song in the top 5 Halloween, Hallowicked, however you want to call it. This is in the top 5 Hallowicked tracks. This song is so fucking good. I absolutely fucking love this song. It's so goddamn dark. It's such good storytelling, I feel, mainly, especially on Monoxide's verse. And he starts the fucking song. Curse of the Jack-o'-lantern. Curse of the Jack-o'-lantern is such a fucking great goddamn song. It's House of Crazies featuring Boondocks, and I think I commented this on Beneath the Dirt's episode after this came out. I had said that I want to see like a House of Crazies and Boondocks project. And Roan came back. He's like, well, we got to get House of Crazies first before we even get that. And that's a very good point. But we have been getting a lot of House of Crazies tracks. But I feel like Boondocks fits so fucking good with the theme of House of Crazies really fucking well. Like, the chemistry on this, like, this song is so goddamn good. and I feel like I'm hyping it up so much, people are going to go in and listen to this and be like, this song isn't that fucking great. Monoxide coming in and talking about leaving a jack-o'-lantern where the head should be.
What a gory scene, I believe in the sea. With a pumpkin left where the head used to be. I gotta make it look just like me. Grab a knife and start to carve out teeth. I want the whole thing to look so pristine. Just start poking where the eyes should be.
Now, we were talking about the cover of this, right? And you can kind of see like a few different like heads here, a few different variants here. Now, when you think about that line where he says, leave a jack-o'-lantern where the head should be, you think about that, you are now in the perspective, through this cover, looking out into the night, because you have a jack-o'-lantern where the head was. Whether they cut your head off and replace it with a jack-o'-lantern, or put the fucking jack-o'-lantern over your head, when I heard that, I immediately, like, because at first I wasn't fully feeling this album cover. I was kind of like, you know, it didn't really follow, like, the cultic orange theme of the last two. But when I heard that line, my opinion went, this is the best fucking album cover out of the series. I absolutely fucking love it. Because you are looking out into the night through a jack-o'-lantern. And I just, like, I got chills thinking about that. I thought that was so fucking dark and descriptive. The whole track is so dark and descriptive, talking about killing in the middle of the night. You can hear him screaming, him being found early on Halloween morning, his body frozen to the ground. He's surrounded by jack-o'-lantern, 13 jack-o'-lanterns to be specific. That's some cult shit. Cult of Night. Like, that song alone builds onto the theme of the whole album, the lore of the whole album, the concept of the whole album, and it ties the artwork and everything together perfectly. Absolutely fucking love that track so goddamn much. And I can honestly tell you guys this now. This album is in my top 5 albums of the year. And that's not me saying, like, I love this album so much it's in my top 5. This is me saying that on Apple Music, when you go to replay and you go down through, like, my top songs, most of the tracks from this album are already in my top 100 played songs, with Curse of the Jack-o'-lantern being in, like, the first top 25, I think. So yeah, it's honest, it's in my top 5 albums of 2022. We'll dive into that more at the end of the year, how I've come up with that math, because I've got it narrowed down. I don't know if you've watched my video for my top songs of 2021, but I've come up with a good formula. I like it. I'm happy with it, of how I come up with my top albums of the year. And this one's in the top 5 already. And it's only been a few weeks since it came out. So, yeah, I've hyped up that one fucking song. A lot of the other ones on there. So, My Head, that's a Triple Threat song. I know Roan said that he, like, immediately skipped it. I haven't really seen a lot of other people say one way or another about this track. I know the homies over on Deck One Doubt had said, I think Carver for sure said he liked it. He could see, like, where it's got, like, more of a poppy kind of upbeat sound to it. It's a Straight Jacket beat. And Straight Jacket, I think, does really well at making kind of like a pop-sounding beat. I think he's really good at doing that. And I really like this track a lot. So maybe the fact that it's labeled as Triple Threat and it has that sound, maybe that's what throws people off. They're expecting more of the gangster rap style, because that's kind of what Triple Threat had evolved into when they released that album back in 2017. It was almost like it was Cell Block, Fofo, and Lil Shank breaking off from the Psychopathic Riders and doing their own thing. That was kind of how I felt about Triple Threat when I listened to it. It felt like it was a Riders album. And then you fast forward to this album here and listen to My Head, and it's not really like that. But you know, it really fits the theme. They're just talking about the crazy thoughts that go inside of their head. I really enjoyed it. So let's go and talk about Parasite Paradise and continue to call out Roan. He had mentioned in his episode that he felt like whoever made the beat was just on that fucking console, and he was just hitting every button he possibly could to make a bunch of noise. And I don't know if that's what they did or not, but I think it worked if they did, or if they didn't mean to do that. It worked out perfectly, because when I think of Venomous 5, like, I have it in my head that Venomous 5, and this is kind of like my own story that I've made up in my head about Venomous 5. So obviously Dark Lotus is no more, you know, until the beef is hashed out, and I don't think it ever will be. Dark Lotus is just done, as it should be, because it should be ICP, Twisted, and Blaze. So in my own head, I've kind of created my own headcanon that Ala-Zuli-Lu, the ancient evil that they are, they're out roaming the earth, and they stumble upon the Garden of Evil, and they see this withered up lotus pod. And on there just happens to be 2 fucking petals just barely clinging to life. Like, they're withered up, they're ready to fall off the lotus pod and join the rest of the petals and, you know, just being withered and dead. And the fucking Ala-Zuli-Lu boys come along and they like drop some kind of poisonous venom onto these 2 petals and give rebirth to those 2 petals. And then the 5 of them go off and they become the Venomous 5 to carry on essentially what Dark Lotus was to punish people, punish the living, because, you know, that was always the story in my head of what Dark Lotus was. It bloomed every so often to punish people or punish evil in the world. So in my own head, I've kind of made it to where Venomous 5 has like been reincarnated through Dark Lotus. You know, it's got 2 of the petals from the lotus, and now we have these 3 ancient evil beings that have joined them. So Venomous 5 going forward is this new entity that is out there to punish people like Dark Lotus was. So when I think about Parasite Paradise, and when you listen to it, you know, the beat starts and then you immediately just go right into like a pre-chorus. Erase the human race. Humans are a parasite. I've looked up the lyrics on Genius. I hear I hate everything, but the lyrics on Genius say I hate human beings. So I don't know which one it is, but in my head I hear erase the human race. Humans are a parasite. I hate everything. I hate everything.
Erase the human race. People are a parasite. Death and decay, paving way to a paradise.
So when you think about that and you listen to that beat and that boom, it almost creates like a sense of dread when I hear it. Like, out of all of the Venomous 5 tracks that they've released, this is my favorite one because I feel like the beat just creates like a sense of dread. Like, here are these 5 venomous fucking beings and they're out there to just eradicate life. Like, that's their sole purpose, is to eradicate life. I feel like the beat really kind of carries that forward. So yeah, when Rome said that he barely made it into Jamie Madrox's verse before he like skipped it, I'm like, bro, you missed so much fucking dopeness in there. Like Billy Obey comes on with a line and talk about slitting your throat and then sticking his dick in the incision. Fuck what you've been saying.
Hold this knife, slice your throat, stick my dick in the slit. Fuck what you've been saying.
Like, bro, that's wicked shit. He didn't make it far enough to hear the wicked shit, man. I love Parasite Paradise. I honestly, if Curse of the Jack-O-Lantern wasn't such a dope-ass fucking track that made the artwork and the lore and the concept of this album what it is, I would probably have Parasite Paradise as my favorite track on here because it's one of the ones that I really love a lot too. So it's definitely a close second for Curse of the Jack-O-Lantern, but yeah, I wanted to talk about that a little bit on here as well. I really fucking love this track. I've rambled on for a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this review. But I absolutely love this album. It's definitely my favorite of the 3. So it's setting a really high bar if they do continue the Songs of Samhain series. And again, in this song, towards the end of Witch Mother, you hear Fatty Patty Pumpkin mention, you know, we have one more. Can you stomach it until next time? So, like, he's already kind of foreshadowing that there will be more Songs of Samhain, and I am, again, 100% A-okay with that. I would love to see them continue this series indefinitely, but if they are going to stop, I think 13 is a perfect number to stop on. And, you know, we're already 3 in, so we got 10 more years of Songs of Samhain if they do it the way I'd like them to do it. But if you have listened to Cult of Night, tell me down below what your favorite tracks are. If you weren't feeling this album, tell me down below what it is about the album that you don't like. And, you know, if it's because it's M&E or Twisted, fuck the beef, you pussy queef. Get off your fucking high horse, get the dick out of your mouth, whatever you want to say. But, yeah. So, head down into the description. You can pick up a t-shirt, DCFAYGOGUY t-shirt, or DCFAYGOGUY merch if you want to support me. I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
I'm sweet.